Right, hi people. What have I got here? Hang on. Let's sort this out. What am I? Plonker, eh? John the Plonker. Dark Side PJ. This is my son, who actually used to be a wrestler, and he was a good wrestler. Unfortunately, at the time he was doing it, it all fell apart. But you know, that's life, isn't it? It's what happens in life. But anyway. Right, talking about wrestling this time, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about people that I wrestled, people I liked, and people I disliked. Right, starting, Johnny Saint. Johnny Saint the Gentleman. Fabulous wrestler, man of 1,000 holds. You could put John in the same hold 5-6 times, and each time he would get out in a different way. But what I used to like about Johnny, he used to turn up at the hall, this suitcase, place his suitcase down, and he'd open it, and everything in that suitcase was packed immaculately, whereas mine was chucked in a training bag. But anyway, he used to, everything used to go back exactly the same as it came out, which was amazing to watch. I'm used to packing stuff. Anyway, he first match I had with John, again, like I explained before, when you first came in, you was a bit nervous. I was a bit wary how to. He didn't try and hurt me or anything, but it was just not right. But it takes time to work with somebody 4, 5, 6 times, and you get into a groove with them. But John used to love his routines. What he'd do, he'd love these routines where you kick it off with, say, double leg or crisscross, and each one of those was a signal word for a routine. So you'd start that and you'd do like a series of 5 to 6 moves, crisscross, double leg, over, you know what I mean? Clothesline, round, various moves again, big clothesline, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I've not long been working with John, so we got these, I think we had three or four routines he told me about. So the first 2 went great, no problem at all. The third one, he shouted the call sign out, so I hadn't got it, it had gone. So as I hit the ropes, I come off the ropes, had to side dodge him sideways, and as I went past, I says, I forgot it. Which, it happened, but in the end, we had some really good bouts. I always remember the one where we did, we had to go, I think we wrestled twice. No, it wouldn't have been, because it was a world championship, and it was 16 rounds, which is, you know, the wrestling rounds are 5-minute rounds, yeah? But, this is the guys I trained on here now. AWA wrestling. Hercules, blah, blah. Anyway, that's another story. We'll talk about that another day. But anyway, yeah. We've wrestled. So we've got 2, 4. I think it was, I took 1, John took the 2. So we actually did, I would say, we did about 13 or 14 rounds. 13, 14, 15. It was a 16 round job. We were in there a long time. And I mean, John can motor. John is fit. I wasn't, I mean, you know, I was a bodybuilder, but I luckily I wasn't carrying a lot of weight then when I was wrestling. But I was about 12 and a half, 13 stone. So anyway, we've done the match. I've come out the ring. I've got just into the dressing room. I've dropped on my hands and knees. I was exhausted, and the sweat was running off my nose to the floor like a tap. That's how knackered I was. Anyway, John come trotting in, trotting past me, he stopped. He says, "You all right, John?" I said, "No, I'm..." It did nothing to him. He was as fit as as when he went in for the first round. But a lot of admiration for that man. He was great, yeah. Right. The other man that I like working with was Eddie Hamill, Kung Fu. Great martial artist. What I liked about Eddie was all those kicks and everything he did, he never touched you. But he made it look so professional. He was so smooth. But his career was cut short with Max Crabtree, like mine was, because, like most people, they fell out with Max. You know, and that's just the way it was. He was just, that's just, he was not a nice man. I'll put it as easy as that. I respected the man. He knew the job inside out, but I didn't like him, and I don't think many people did. In fact, that comes then to the fact of the mighty John Quinn. I don't know whether any of you remember the mighty John Quinn from Canada. He came over, and I clicked with John, and I was really friendly, and he was really friendly with me. And I loved the bloke to bits. Well, he came over initially. He was doing G's with Big Daddy, if you remember, for the big show at Wembley Stadium, was going to be the main one. He was here for 12 months, did various other matches as well, but whenever he worked with Big Daddy, it was basically a plug for the end of the year match at Wembley Stadium. That was the big build-up for John. And I saw him over that 12 months and I spoke to him a lot. And anyway, the day came. The day came for the Wembley Stadium show. And, oh, by the way, this is on Darkside PJ's videos, all this American wrestling that we did, AWA. There's me, look with the blonde hair. Anyway, I've wandered off again, haven't I? Anyway, so they came for the big day, and Wembley Stadium was sold out. They sold it out, right? So imagine the money they took, yeah? Which with John Quinn this was the big day he waited for the big payday. So it was all done, and then John went up to Max like, and Max gave him 35 quid. John Quinn went crazy. He was like a wall. I mean, 6'6", and like I think he was about 19 stone. He was going to kill Max Crabtree. He charged at him. I think 4 guys had to dive on him and hold him back. That gave Max a chance to get out the dressing room. And this just gives you some idea of what the guy was like. I respected him, but he was like all promoters. Mainly, you've heard this from boxing, but he was the equivalent of a boxing promoter. He just ripped everybody off. And that was the way it was, you know. Anyway, back to the wrestling. Another guy I used to wrestle was Clive Myers. You'll probably remember him. Iron Fist. Hated working with him. Every one of them kicks he did, he stuck them in. And it was quite handy, you know. But luckily I didn't wrestle him a lot. But another guy I worked with, Chris Adams. Fortunately, he's dead, isn't he? He went to America, things went wrong for him, and he died. And I started with Chris. When Chris first came into wrestling, I was the first guy that I worked with him. He was a lot taller than me. He was 6 foot. And I worked great with Chris. I never had any problems with him. He never deliberately tried to. I mean, he was a black belt, 3rd dan or something in judo, wasn't he? I know he was a judo player. So was his brother. His brother was Olympic champion. What was his name? Neil Adams. He was Olympic champion. But anyway, I had some great matches with Chris, and he was good. Another guy that came into the job, Ringo Rigby. Probably all remember Ringo Rigby. He was a black belt judo player again, but also he used to do, I can't think what it was called now. He used to do wrestling, Russian something. I can't think what it was. Anyway, he was good, but he was an hard nut, was Ringo. I remember we did a ladder match in, I think it was in Malvern somewhere, or like that. Craven Arms, and it was in the club there, like a working men's club. Only a small venue, but the lads used to love doing Craven Arms because you'd go into Craven Arms and you've got wall-to-wall ring rats. Sorry, that term's a bit naughty. Ring rats means the girls that are there that want to have fun with the guys after. Anyway, it's another story. Anyway, so we were doing this ladder match. Now, unfortunately, the roof was really high, and there was to hang a bag of money from the ceiling, yeah? And the idea was the winner was the first one to get to the bag of money. And the steps was the biggest set of step ladders I've ever seen in my life. They must have been 17 foot long. But they got him on the floor outside, so we did the match. But and the idea is you do the match, and then you get the ladders in while the guy's been put out the ring, and you go up the step ladders. So I said to Ringo before we went in, and I watched a lot of these matches previous to this, and I used to think they stunk because the guy would be going up the ladder, and he was waiting to be stopped, and he'd go slow, and then it stunk. So I said to Ringo, I said, look, Les, I said to Les, I'm going to go up that ladder. If I can get that bag, I'm going to take the bag. It's up to you to stop me, right? So that was the rules we made to ourselves, and the same went for him. But he was winning, but the winning is irrelevant. The fact that it was just being a great match was the thing, but this was dodgy. So anyway, I've put him out, I've done something, I can't remember what happened, but I'm going up the step ladders like a rocket. And I remember going right up, and I'm thinking, I've got this money, and I was literally that far away from the bag. I got more or less got it, and the ladders went whoosh, straight from under me. So I was in midair like that, absolute midair, dropping, and I thought, shit, I'm going to land on the ladders. But as I was coming down, he kicked him out the way, and I landed face down on the thing. It's a cracking match. It's a pity it wasn't televised like that, but it was one of the best matches I've ever had, and he was a good worker. Was Ringo Rigby. I had some great matches with him. Now I've just told you about Mighty Quinn. That's about it for now, I think, really. But yes, I had a great life. I've got to be honest. I loved every second of it. This crew here, you can see here, these were all bodybuilders. There's 22 of them. I trained all 22 at pro wrestling. And some of them was really good, but they got bodies. These have got bodies like the American wrestlers. And it was great. But that's another story, which I will tell in the future. But for now, that's all for now. And I'll be back shortly in about maybe next weekendish, next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever. But I'll see you soon.